Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. I am Jim Hacking. It is Sunday, the 30th of January. We are getting ready to wrap up our month of going live every single day. It's been quite a ride. I've enjoyed it. Just got back from brunch. Um, Went out with my mom and my Aunt Alice and my family, my wife, and everybody else, and my sisters. We had a great time at brunch, and after this, I'm going to watch some football. So I hope you all are going to find some time to relax today. I enjoyed yesterday's show, and I was reading an article last night in the New Yorker. I'll try to find it when someone's giving their story in a little bit. And the story is about a young lady who's sort of active in the immigrant rights community who went to work for the Biden administration, and everybody thought that that was going to be that she was going to have all this flexibility and that they would very quickly work towards dismantling the Trump team's immigration agenda. But as I mentioned, and as I've said, there's been a lot of political people attached to Alejandro Mayorkas that were really reluctant to do anything to help immigrants. So all these so-called conspiracy theories that I've been having for so long, in which I say that they're not really interested in making life easier for you, I was right. So it's an interesting article. I have to finish it. I'm going to share it with my team. I'll probably make a video about it, but it just demonstrates that what I've been saying about the Biden administration is true. They don't really care about you. They're not really in favor of immigrants. They may not be as openly hostile as the Trump team to immigrants, but they're not doing much to make life easier for everyday immigrants. So that's frustrating, but it's good to get some confirmation that I'm not just making this stuff up in my head and to find that, in fact, I was right. And many immigration advocates were right, knowing that the Trump team just is not, um, that is not that interested in making life better. All right, Mr. Oh, Mr. Tusk has a question. I have an upcoming adjustment of status interview next month. What advice can you give me to be successful? Well, if there's one topic, Mr. Tusk, that I have more content on, it's green card interviews. And in fact, about a month ago, we posted 3 videos in a row, which were different parts of an adjustment interview. My wife, Amani, played the immigration officer. I was the clueless American, and Adela, our wonderful team member, head of HR and culture, she played my spouse. I would say to watch that set of videos, and I would watch all the stuff on interviews. Um, I think that that would be really helpful for you. As far as the Houston office, they're pretty good. We found them pretty easy to deal with as things go. They're relatively professional, so I think you're going to be just fine. Good luck. Make sure I did a video. I think it might have dropped today. Yeah, it did, about making sure that you know your spouse. So I'd watch that video too. All right. So that was that. Everybody's posting where they're watching from. If you haven't already, let us know where you're watching. Looks like there's about 66 people on the feed right now. We got Hamant in the UK. We got Hazan in Ohio. Anna's always watching. Good morning, Anna. Cindy's in Florida. Bay is in Silver Spring, Maryland. We got Colorado Springs, Sheldon. Rocio, our friend Rocio from yesterday, she's watching in Columbus. We got someone in Greece watching. That's probably from yesterday too. Alessandra wants to know, can I take over my mandamus lawsuit? I probably can. I don't do that often, but I have taken over a few, especially if it appears that the people that you're working with don't know what they're doing, which sometimes happens because, Alex is in the Bay Area. Juliet's in Cleveland. Renee says good afternoon. Sanjay's in West Monroe, Louisiana. Boy, we got people all over. Sham's in Illinois. Ferdimaco is in Ontario. And then we got MD in Minnesota. All right. Looks like Bushra is back for more. Hi, Bushra.
Hi, I was just looking at the comments. I don't know if you remember me. I wanted to sue for my asylum decision, and I called your
Yeah.
office last week.
Okay.
And I was supposed to talk to an attorney, and they saw they saw my timeline, everything, approved it, and then right before I spoke with the attorney, they said that they're not suing for people that are that have already interviewed, but I wanted to sue anyway because I wanted to sue for my work permit as well.
You want to sue for both or just the work permit?
For both. Like my rationale is if I'm suing for my work permit, I understand the risk of suing for an asylum decision. And I was wondering if there's any way that we can talk about it privately, like with you, because I feel like this is a free service and I'm taking a lot of space and I don't want to keep coming in here to talk about the same topic. So if there's any way I can speak with you this week, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's no problem. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to make that happen. What time zone are you in?
What do you mean?
Are you in the Eastern time zone, Central, or West?
I'm California time, but
You're 2
like I
hours
don't mind
behind.
waking earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my calendar real quick.
Okay. And I would really appreciate that. Like I don't mind paying the consultation fee, but
we don't do paid consultations anymore.
okay.
I could talk to you tomorrow at 11:30 your time. I have 15 minutes in there. You want to take it?
Yes, I would take it.
Okay. Let's see.
11:50 or 11:15?
11:30.
11:30. Okay.
So that's 1:30. So you're a Pacific time, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Bushra, what is the first initial of your last name?
A.
A. Okay, great. I'll email you in a little bit, but I'll see you tomorrow at 1:30.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bushra. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. All right, that was Bushra. She didn't like the answer she got from our team, so we'll have to follow up, see what that's all about. Here's a link for everyone that wants to come in the room. Masood's been waiting. Hi, Masood.
Hi, Jim. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Sure.
So I do have a couple of questions. First, my first question is that, like, I have filed in September 2021 for I-485 and I-130, and my fingerprint has been done. So I didn't got anything after that. Like, this it's saying like it's under review, like we are reviewing your file or something like that.
What kind of case is it?
It's 485 and I-130. Just in September 2021. I got fingerprints in October 2021, like just after 1 month.
Oh, you're fine. I mean, you're just waiting.
Okay, so do you have any idea how long I have to wait for that EAD and
EAD, if you got EAD, probably 6 months from fingerprinting.
Okay.
And then the interview depends. So where will your interview be?
I'm in Sacramento, California.
Okay, so they're going to be sort of slow. So you'll probably have your interview around this time next year, I would say.
Next year, like 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's my.
Yeah, but you're just starting. You're barely started.
Yeah, I barely started. Like, okay. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate that. I'm watching your videos every day, and you're really helping us a lot.
I enjoy it. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, because we don't know what you're doing, but we know like what kind of situation we are.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. Thanks, Masood. Hang in there. Let me know if you need anything, okay?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, bye. All right, Danielle's been waiting. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for taking my call. Yes, you can come. Thank you for taking my call, and I want to thank you for all the good work you've been doing, and continue doing what you're doing for immigration. I wanted to call you back then and let you know that I got through. My case was approved last year. I don't know if you remember. I called you, asking you some questions about my case, and they asked me a lot about my husband's property and whatever. Well, I got my green card, so thank you for the encouragement.
Awesome.
And I called to, okay. Huh?
Glad to hear it.
And I called to ask a question. Okay. Okay. I want to file for my daughter. My husband wants to do it. So I don't know if it's better me filing for her. She's back in Jamaica. She's 13, or my husband. I don't know which one is better. That's one question. And the next question, when I file for her, do I file only the I-130 or I file it with the I-485, both of them together?
So just so everyone knows, the I-130 is the petition to show that she's your relative. And you use the I-130 whether the person is overseas or in the United States. But the I-45 you only use when the person is in the United States. So all you need to do to file to get her case started is the I-130. You don't need to file the 45.
Okay.
And as far
so that's
as
the only form I file.
For now, yeah. I think you might need to file the I-130A as well, but you don't need to do the 45. So you, if I were you, since you now have your green card and she's only 13, I would say that because that visa category is relatively current, that you should just file for her. I wouldn't have your husband do it. It's going to be easier for you to sponsor him, and it's sort of a little bit on more solid ground.
Okay, you hear that, Samuel? He was saying it's best if I do it for her. It's more, sorry. You need to listen to what he's saying. Okay, thank you, Jim. That's all I needed to ask, and I thank you so much for taking my call.
Bye, Danielle. Have a good day.
Bye.
All right, everybody. The waiting room's open. So if you need someone, Greg, I can't take you because you're driving. I can't take people that are driving. Oh, it looks like Greg might have stopped. Let's see here. I'm going to post the information. So, hi, Greg. You're muted, my friend.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all you do, bro. So I got a quick question, just two quick questions. I'm a green card holder. I intend to petition for my kids. They're back home in Africa, but I'm not sure precisely. I know I have to put in the birth papers, the birth certificate, and copies of my green card and the I-130 form, and then the filing fee. But I'm not sure what else I need to put in there.
Well, let's back up a minute. So what country are you from?
Nigeria.
And when did you come to the United States?
2017.
And and did you come on a visit visa?
Yeah, at that time, yeah.
And when you got your visit, when you went to the embassy to get your visit visa, were you married or were you single?
I was married at that time.
And did you list those children on your visa application?
Correct. Oh, visa application? No, there was no space. I mean, they didn't have any space to say if you had kids or not. I'm not sure it was there. That provision was not there.
I'm reasonably sure that they ask who your children are when you apply for a DS-160.
No, that question wasn't there.
Okay, so I don't think that's right. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
I can check. Hold on, let's see. Well, actually, I'm not going to be able to look it up now. But I would look up the DS-160. I would look to see if that's a question. If that's a question on there and you did not list them, that's going to be a problem, especially if you're trying to.
I would never deny my kid for any reason.
I mean,
yeah.
If you're wanting to come on a visit, the fact that you have children actually helps your case. It doesn't hurt your case to get this visa because it suggests you're going to come back. Did you get divorced in the United States or did you get divorced in Nigeria?
Nigeria.
And you didn't have any problems getting your green card?
No.
Okay. So as far as you're concerned, you've already listed these children if you were supposed to. You've never, as you said, denied them. That's good. Okay.
Correct.
As far as, so now tell me about their birth certificates. Were their birth certificates generated at around the time that they were born?
No, sometime in 2015 or 14, if I remember.
Okay. So how old are they?
11, 8, and 6.
Okay. So I would say that above and beyond the birth certificate, were you married to their mother at the time each of them were born?
Yes, at that time, yeah.
Okay. So I would say that I would include evidence beyond the birth certificate. So pictures of them when they're little, Any other records you have that show that you were listed as their father for school or for anything else?
Yes,
Anything
I do have it.
I would submit all of it. You want to overwhelm them with stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But you have idea what about what the time frame would be if I turn in the application sometime in February, like
I'd
this
say
coming month?
but until they're here, 1.5 years or 2 years, probably closer to 2 years.
Okay. 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 Jim, thank you so much. That'll be all.
Hi, Greg. See you,
Thank
buddy.
you, sir. Thank you.
Have a good
Bye.
day. Yeah, for sure. All right, I want to pull this question up from Mawa. My husband and I are preparing for our second interview in Newark. What specific department should we notify of our religious exemption from wearing a mask? Will requesting that affect our interview? And then he says, request is for a reasonable accommodation due to religious exemption. What religion says that you can't wear a mask? I don't know of any religion that says you can't wear a mask. People are going crazy with these religious exemption things. This is not a real thing. And as far as whether or not it's going to mess up your case, yeah, it's going to mess up your case. If you're getting called in for a second interview, you have a whole lot of things to worry about above and beyond whether or not you got to wear a damn mask. Just wear the mask. You're already making it. If you're going in there for a second interview, that means they got their knives out for you. They're ready to get you. So why are you going to start things off by saying that I have some religious reason to not wear a mask? Tell me, cite for me, if you can, Mawa, the religious prohibition on wearing a mask. And then there's no specific department to listen to this nonsense. There's no such thing. I'm respectful of all kinds of people's beliefs and religions, but I've just about had it with all these exemptions for COVID. And I mean, where can't you wear a mask? What if you're having surgery? You got to wear a mask. I mean, I've never heard of such a thing. So I'm just tired of these ridiculous requests. And I want to treat everyone with respect, and I get it, but show me the citation to a religious text that says you're prohibited from wearing a mask. Yeah, Renee's right. Renee's right. What you should be worried about is that Stokes interview. They're calling you in for a second interview. And here's the thing. I've been to that Newark office. That Newark office, they don't play around. Like, if they let officers bring knives to an interview, it's Newark. I mean, that's like, I was like, what? Like, that was one of the toughest places I've ever been. And it's a different kind of tough. Like Denver, who I hate, they're just, antagonistic to immigrants. Newark, it's like you would expect. Like down the turnpike, they're just ready to drag you out into the alley and have a fight. So to think that you're going to go in there and start your Stokes interview, your second interview, by saying I have some BS reason for not wanting to wear a mask, they're going to run you out of town on a rail, and you will not have an interview. All right, Beanie. How you doing, Beanie? Good to see you.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Hackton? Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, sure.
I have a question. It's about one of the DS 260 questions here. It's, some of these questions, they're pretty straightforward, but some, they seem a little bit like they have a hook on them.
Does it ask if you're religiously exempted from wearing a mask?
No, but can you keep us posted if you find a religion that exempt?
I will.
It's pretty interesting angle. The question is this: have you belonged to, contributed to, or worked for any professional, social, or charitable organization?
Yeah.
I can understand the charitable organization part, maybe charities that operate in countries that have
terrorism issues.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But this seems like such a broad question. Have you belonged to, contributed to, or worked for any professional organization, for example? I mean, what constitutes a professional or a social organization?
So that's a great question. So when I first started practicing immigration law, it was really a very sort of a simple question. Like, it was, tell us any organizations that you've been a member of. But they've been hold on. I just have to interrupt our question because our friend posted, I'm Christian and Title VII protects me from discrimination. Okay, Mawa, here's the deal. I want you to go in there. I want you to go in there to the field office in Trenton and say, I am Christian, and Christianity prohibits me from wearing a mask. You should go do that. Report back to us how that goes. I spent the first 25 years of my life as a Christian, and I actually studied to be a priest. I'd never, ever heard of any part of the Bible or religious doctrine that says you can't wear a mask. So you go ahead and do that. You go in there, you cite Title VII. You know what they're going to do? They're going to cite the Immigration and Nationality Act, and they're going to come after you with everything that they got because they think your marriage isn't real. So you go ahead and do that. I think that's just a great idea. All right. Sorry, Vinny. All right. So in the old days, they would just ask what groups you're in. Now they think that, and they've tried to just cover the entire landscape by listing any organization. So is there a type of organization that you're worried about, or is
no, it isn't, but obviously I know that they don't mean your local bowling alley team or anything like that, but like a workers union.
Yeah, I think that would be one you'd need to list. Mm-hmm.
Because I just answer no to this. I don't even know. I don't even remember correctly, but it might be at some point that there was some kind of work group related to work. I don't know, 10 years ago.
I would say do your best and err on the side of listing it, unless it's some organization you're worried about. If it's not an organization you're worried about, I would just go ahead and list it.
Yeah, I mean, now I already answered and delivered. So just a follow-up question, the errata sheet, right?
Yeah.
It will just be a document that a formal document that I type and bring it to the interview with me, and I deliver it before I'm sworn in. Is that correct?
Is this for a green card interview or embassy?
Yeah, it's at the embassy.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I have there's a few different things on my DS-260 that have changed since, because it's been a while. It's, stuck at the embassy. I was documentary qualified. I think it's a year ago. It's going to be a year ago.
I would bring it with you. I wouldn't start the interview off with it. I just did a video last week called "Don't Just Drop It on the Desk," which is sort of like, let them come to you. If they ask you any kind of questions like, Vini, do you have any updates to your form or any changes you want to make or anything else we need to talk to? Yeah, I thought about it and I remembered I was in this union. I forgot to list it in the answer to question number 29. Can you change that for me? Or any other mistakes that I would be ready to talk about it. I might bring in a errata sheet. I might not. I'm not.
There's something like my address, my family's address has changed, for example, which will be the address they'll send the green card to. So that needs to be updated.
They'll deal with all that stuff. Don't worry about that. They'll ask you about that.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have. Hey, thank you so much for what you do, your patience and your dedication, and great. It's a great content marketing. I'm sure it has done wonders for your firm. It's great to see it.
Thanks, Vini. Have a great day and keep us posted how the interview goes. Okay.
I will. All right. Have a good one. Bye.
All right. Amir's waiting. Hi, Amir.
Hi, Jim. How are you? Thank you very much for having me.
How are you doing?
Actually, I'm good. Thank you very much, sir. Actually, it's very interesting. Like you have a live chat from time to time. I got a notification and I saw. So my case is a little bit weird. I want just to get your advice. I entered to the United States in 2019. I won the diversity lottery visa for me and my three kids. With my wife, I entered to the United States. Then I got my green card for 10 years. After 3 months, for somehow my wife's mom, she got very sick back to my country. So we should go back, and she don't have anyone to support her. So we back there in exactly December, in the end of December 2019. Then we stuck there due to the COVID. You know that financially I was not good in my country back. Then I stay there up to now. So it's been like more than 2 years. But the good things, I leave my bank open in the United States up to date, and I pay tax for every years because I do some online businesses. So my US numbers is still inactive, but my green card is active for 10 years. So if I want to come back to United States, like in the next couple months with my family, do I need to apply for some certain form, or I don't have a chance? I cannot enter back because I heard and I listened. If you pass more than 2 years, you cannot enter to the United States. And this is like first time I leave United States, and I never come back there for more than 2 years. So what's your advice to me?
How much time was there between when you arrived in America and received your green card and you actually left?
I enter in October, 15 October, and I leave in December. And I got my, I enter in the 1st of October, and I got my green card after 15 days. Then I lived in the end of December. So up to now, because I got COVID and I stay at home for 6 months. Then my wife, she got COVID as well. So her mom get better now, but we stay more than 2 years. So I don't know if I apply for some certain form from here, I can apply from my country, or I cannot come back. Or what's your advice? For your information, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm from the north of Iraq. It's called Kurdistan.
Sure.
Yes. So I'm staying there, and I'm working, by the way, with the U.S. company for 10 years. So I don't know what to do now.
If you were allowed back into the United States tomorrow, how long would you stay this time?
To the United States?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will stay like a minimum like 2.5 years or 3 years, because I know that the rules you should stay not less than 2.5 years to be guarantee you will get a residency.
Well, you already have residency. At least you did. Whether the question is whether you lost it or not. Now, here's what I'll tell you, Amir. I'm not 100% sure about the answer to your question, and the reason for that is I haven't had anyone in a really long time have a green card and stay out as long as you did, right? So there's different arguments to be made. One is, should Amir and his family hop on a plane with their green cards and their passports and try to enter the United States? Do I think that they would be allowed to enter without a problem? I think there's a 25% chance of that. I think there's a 50% chance that you get turned around and they say, sorry, you abandoned your residency. And then I think there's a 25% chance that they let you in, but then make you try to prove why you shouldn't be deported, that you didn't abandon your residency. That's what my gut tells me. That's what I think is right, but I'm not 100% sure. And obviously I don't want you to make that decision before we sort of research it a little bit, right? So I just don't know the answer about 2 years. You've been out a solid 2 years. If you do me a favor, if you send me an email with a description of your timeline, like put your timeline there for me, like when you applied for DV, when you got approved, when you came to the United States, when you got your green card, when you left. If you put all that in an email for me, I'll have someone on our team look it up on Monday and get back to you.
Thank you very much. So there is no any form to apply before come back.
No.
Only I have.
If you lost your green card, like if you physically lost it, there's a form, and there's a form called an SR1, which is like for humanitarian reasons to let you back, which is probably what you need to do. But I just want to make sure. I don't want to tell you one way or the other without looking it up.
Okay. So I should whatever I have time, I should back and enter to the United States, and I check
That's my. I mean, the thing is, you have to be ready for them to turn you around and put you back on the plane to Kurdistan. That's the only thing, and you have to pay for it. So that sucks. So there's one idea. Like, would Amir want to just try by himself and see if you get through without your wife and kids? Try that. That way you're only buying one plane ticket back if you have to, and you're the only one sort of enduring that long flight to the United States, dealing with customs and sent back. That's gonna be sort of
good idea.
that's gonna be sort of traumatic to the kids, right?
Yes, because especially they are small. My kids, they are like lower than 5 and 6 years. So
Right.
this is good advice. So you advise me to come alone and check, and then
No,
I take
I
him
advise you
in.
to send me an email and let me see if you need to do an SR11 or not, or an
I will do.
called.
Yeah. How I can get your email? It's in the website, or you text to my.
I'll put it right here on the comments.
Okay, because I already in the chat box I send you the text, but through my Facebook. But it's fine. Okay, I don't need to take more than your time because maybe there are other people that are in the waiting list. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you, and it is pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, Amir. Masalama. All right, Khaled's here. Hi, Khaled.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
How are you doing? I thank for joining you. Jim, we apply for I-130. My wife, she's a U.S. citizen. We apply for I-130 in March last year. In August, we got case under reviewing. In December, she applied for expedite to case because she had a kidney transplant and she's pregnancy. In that time, we figured out she didn't mention my previous marriage, which is already divorced before 2 years. Can we add this certificate for divorce in MVC?
I think you need to notify USCIS of that before they issue an approval.
But we already applied for expedite.
Doesn't matter. Has the I-130 been approved?
No, we're waiting.
So yeah, you need to notify them that you're divorced. Otherwise, they're going to think you're committing immigration fraud.
Okay. Okay. What if we just upload that document in MVC stage? It will affect the case.
So here's the problem for you. USCIS is the one that decides whether your marriage is valid. So really, it's USCIS. Yeah. It's really USCIS who cares about your eligibility to marry or not. So if I were you, I would FedEx it them tomorrow. What you don't want them is to approve it without knowing about your divorce.
Okay.
They're going to think you tried to lie to them.
Yeah, I have to notify them
tomorrow, and you need proof that you did it. So Federal Express.
But the divorce certificate in my country back Sudan, now the Sudan is under so many complicated. I need to get that certificate from the court. It takes time. That's the problem.
Well, what are you waiting for? What the hell? You've known since December that you didn't do it.
We already applied, but the court is closed, and every week it's just working one day and that stuff, like waiting list.
Okay, so as we sit here today, you have no proof that you're divorced.
We already applied for the court.
To get a copy or to get the divorce?
No, to get the certificate. Already we got the divorce in 2018.
But you don't have anything related. You don't have anything related to that divorce?
No, it's just we applying right now.
Okay. So from USCIS's point of view, you filed an I-130 in which you said that you were never married before.
No, she skipped that part. We figured she skipped that part, my wife.
But from their point of view, I have nothing but love and respect for you and your wife, me.
Okay.
From their point of view, they have a U.S. citizen who filed an I-130, and on that I-130, they said Khaled has never been married before.
Yes, that's what I figured.
But in fact,
lately,
Khaled was married before.
Yes, and I have daughter before, yeah.
And did you list the daughter on the I-130?
No.
Dude.
She didn't mention it.
What the hell? Is she a moron? Why doesn't she know who you're married to? Why doesn't she know that you had a kid?
She know all that things, but when she applied, she just escaped it. Escaped that part.
Do you think this is sort of a big deal?
It will be a big deal, right?
Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
The whole thing is whether you are legally eligible to marry. That's all that USCIS is concerned with. were you eligible to be married, and is this a real marriage? They'll probably say, Khaled, I believe this is a real marriage, but you lied to
Yes.
us. You lied to us about being married before, and you lied to us about having a kid before.
Mm-hmm.
So
But I didn't fill that form.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, she filled the form I-130 for me.
Did you review it before she sent it in?
No, just reviewed and
Why didn't you review it? I mean, you're responsible. You can't blame your wife. You can't throw your wife under the bus for.
Yes.
I mean, that's your fault more than hers.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
you're right.
Khaled, I hate to say this, my friend, but I believe that you need to withdraw the I-130 that's on file, get your divorce decree, and file a whole new application.
From again, right?
I would withdraw the I-130, even though you're going to lose a year of waiting, but you filed an I-130 that has really big problems with it. And
the proper way.
What you don't want is for them to think you're a liar, because that'll keep you from ever getting a benefit.
Okay. If we withdraw that case, we can apply normally with a right certificate and with right things.
Yeah, but you need that divorce decree.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Khaled.
Have a good day. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Oh, that was good thing Khaled's wife wasn't on the call. She might have got really mad at him and think he was trying to throw her under the bus. That was funny. He said, I didn't submit that form. That was sort of funny. All right. Ibrahim's here. Hi, Ibrahim.
Hello, Jim. How are you doing?
Good, buddy. My own Ibrahim is texting me right now asking, how does he drop off his prescription at the pharmacy? He doesn't know. He's 16, so he doesn't know these things. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Say hi to him for me.
I will. Okay. What can I help you with?
I had my U.S. citizen second interview.
What was it about? What they want to know?
3 hours.
Uh-oh,
was so stressful. 3 hours. Oh my God. I just want to tell him, hey, man, keep your citizenship. I don't need it anymore.
Was it, are you on the 3-year rule or the 5-year rule?
I was married and then I got divorced, and 5 years, right?
So what were they asking you about? Still about the marriage?
So when I was filling up, when my wife and I filling up first time for my green card in 2016, there is a part where she put no, and then when I was doing my citizenship, I put yes. Like it was, do you ever been self-group defense? You ever been part of a group?
A military, military group, vigilante group, rebel group.
Self-defense, something like this.
Yeah.
So at that time she put no, and then me, when I was doing my citizenship, I put yes.
Uh-oh.
So they thought it was a gun that because in 2010 in Ivory Coast, we had a civil war there. Mm-hmm. I just put it to say at that period, we had to stay away all night to protect our family. It was like a gate community where there is only 2 ways to get to the place where we live. So at that time, we have to stay away all night to protect our family. So that was all the question in 3 hours, all kind of question. They want to know if I ever touch a gun, if I ever shoot, if I ever, things like this. So I answer all of them. They make me sign. They make me draw my place, everything, and then they go online. They see. They come back. They question me. They take break. They come and all kind of things. But at the end, so after 3 hours, we went over all the maybe 15 pages that they filled up. So they read everything and they told me to sign, and then they told me to go home. In 2 weeks they will get back to me.
Did you get a copy? Did you get a copy of what you signed?
No, I didn't get a copy.
Okay, so everybody, if you ever sign a long 15-page statement like Ibrahim did, always ask for a copy. And if they won't give it to you, tell them you want to talk to the supervisor because you're entitled to it because it's your statement. And
Okay.
they'll say you can request it from us. That's not the same thing. You're entitled to a copy of the statement right there.
But do you think I can still request?
You can, but now you're going to wait 6 months. But that's okay.
Okay. So then the night time when I came home, I went on my account on the U.S. citizen website, and then I see that they put, they placed me online for my whole ceremony, and I will get a letter in 30 days.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Now, my question is that I applied for my wife and my 3 kids, I-130, like in July 20. It's been 18 months. Oh, yeah. 18 months now I apply. So after my whole ceremony, do you think I can, what I can do to try to make the case faster?
What stage have the I-130s been approved, or what stage are those at?
It is in California. It haven't been approved yet. 18 months ago.
So I would make a copy of your naturalization certificate. And if you get an approval letter, or your oath ceremony letter and your ceremony and your certificate of citizenship, I would Federal Express it to the address at the bottom of the I-130 receipt notices you got for all of them.
Yes.
Put them all together. So you're going to have the cover letter, you're going to have your oath ceremony letter, you're going to have your certificate of citizenship, and then you're going to have their receipt notices and say, please see attached. When I applied for this application, when I filed these applications, I was a lawful permanent resident. I've since become a U.S. citizen. Please change the visa category for my wife and kids, and please begin processing this as if I were a U.S. citizen. Yep.
Okay. So but now it is tax time. Do you how can I have a? Do you think it's possible to have a social security number for them while they live there and then claim them, or I need an IT number
for your taxes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to talk to the accountant about that. I don't know. I think you would need to get an ITN number. I just wouldn't worry about it. If you can afford to not worry about it, I would just deal with that when they get here.
Oh, okay.
If you need it for your tax return, then that's between you and the IRS and your accountant. I just don't know how that works.
Okay. Thank you. So if I change the status, do you think it's gonna go a little faster than it is going?
I think it'll get the I-130 approved, which is what you need to happen first. I think I-130s for green card holders, they just sit on these days.
Okay.
Yours has been pending a really long time.
Yeah, 18 months already.
Yeah, and it might have been that your own citizenship case had been flagged because of the discrepancy, right?
Yeah.
And so that might have slowed down. Like they might have said, well, we're not even sure if we're going to let Ibrahim stick around here.
Yeah.
We think he might have tricked us.
Yeah.
So don't hurry up and finish the wife and kids cases, right?
Okay.
Sometimes I think you get a little bit of a black mark on your file.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to get that black mark off, and it spreads into other stuff. This is all just me.
Okay.
Okay.
All
right.
Okay. All right.
All right, Ibrahim.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Congratulations. Let us know when you get your citizenship.
I will let you know.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
All right. So Mawa's got some Bible for me. Mawa says there's a part in the Bible about beholding the glory of the Lord with an open face. Okay, so I'm not a scholar. I'm not going to get into a doctrine thing with you, but I think most scholars would say that that's for when you're at mass or prayer or service, not at USCIS. But again, I'm not going to get into all that, and I appreciate Mawa just trying to do her best. I get that. Good luck to you. In overall answer to your question, I think your interview is going to go a whole lot more simply if you just wear the mask. But of course, it's your call. Let's talk to John. Hi, John.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Good. I had a question about, so I applied, my case was, it was more of a perm labor certification.
Okay.
We've applied since April, submitted everything. So now basically we're waiting on, work permit and.
Wait, so hold on. So what is your current immigration status?
Let's see, hold on.
Like, or when did you enter the United States?
Oh, so I entered United States I was an F1 student and then I started working.
On OPT?
Yeah, OPT, and then that expired, and then, my work filed for me, the labor certification.
Okay, so no H-1B, just straight to green card.
Right.
Okay, so the perm gets approved.
So that got approved in December.
And then did they file the I-140 before they filed the 45, or they filed them together?
They filed them together.
Okay, and so that's all pending. So you filed for a work card and a travel card, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And actually, my mom passed away after that. So we applied. So I wanted to go back, home, but I couldn't because they said the whole thing would just be, abandoned.
Yep. Yeah. It would.
So,
yeah. That's why you always file for advanced parole with the green card, in case you never know what's going to happen.
Right. We did that. We filed that together.
Okay. All right. So what's the question for me?
So the question is, how long until we get the, work permit and travel document?
That was just last month that you filed?
No, we filed since April of last year.
And when did you get fingerprinted?
I got that done in September.
So probably
is
next
when
month.
The fingerprints is. Sorry, what was that?
Next month or March, February or March.
So I did fingerprints were received on September 10th of last year.
Yeah, so probably March 10th, maybe a little sooner, maybe a little later.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to know because it can kind of be hard not knowing what time it is and planning financially.
I think you're getting close.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye, John.
Bye.
All right. So if everyone can do me a quick favor and just leave us a review, if you leave a comment or two with the review, but if you leave us a 5-star review, we'd really appreciate it. We always thank and are grateful for people that do that. So thanks for that. Looks like Tanner's up next. Hi, Tanner.
Hi, Jim.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you.
All right. So I am a college senior. I'm one of those young couples you were talking about earlier who gets married kind of right before they graduate. And my husband, he is from Paraguay. He's on a J1 visa. And we don't have a ton of earnings history. It's going to be one of those situations for the financial affidavit of support. We're going to have to request some sort of sponsor.
Yep.
And I mean, luckily I have parents that I think will be sort of responsive to that, but I want to know how I should go about explaining those obligations.
So that's sort of a tricky thing and this is why I never like to talk to the co-sponsor, because most people, if they were to ask me, like if I were walking down the street and somebody said, "Hey, Jim, I see you on TV, on YouTube. Do you think my brother-in-law and my sister want me to sign this affidavit of support?" I'd probably tell them, don't do it. Right. So I have a video. That's very detailed that walks the co-sponsors through their obligations. So I would just show them that it's sort of neutral. It sort of says, you're promising that you'll support the spouse, that if Tanner can't pay the government back and the spouse can't pay the government back, that you'll pay the government back, that you're on the hook until the spouse becomes a U.S. citizen or works for 44 quarters, which is like 11 years in the United States. So as far as the way I would say it, if I were Tanner trying to convince my mom or dad to do it, I would say, hey, look, generally this is not a big deal. I talked to this lawyer and he said that generally he's never really heard anybody being asked by the government to pay back these obligations. I really haven't. So, I think that it's a nice thing to do for someone. Like if my kid asked me to do it, I would do it. But other than that, I probably wouldn't do it for regular people, like just friends and stuff. And I'd have to really care about the person. So,
it's something even with my family, I'm really hesitant to do. It's one of those things where it's right after college, you're on your own. Don't come back asking for something. And so that's, I really want to be upfront and neutral, and I don't want to, be super persuasive. I just kind of want to ask them and be straightforward.
Yeah. So some parents don't like it because they don't want their kids to even know how much they're making. So I've seen all different kinds of scenarios in this. I think you just take your shot, ask them, and go from there.
All right. Well, that's super helpful. Thank you so much for the response.
Good luck, Tanner. I hope everything works out.
Thank you.
You got it. All right. So let's talk to Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Jim. So first, thank you so much for the opportunity. I want to explain my case. So I entered the US as a F1 student. I graduate, and then I got, before graduate, I got married to my spouse. We applied for the I-130 for the adjustment of status. I got married in 2020, and in 21 April we filed for the adjustment. But we got a request for evidence for my joint sponsor because college students, so we're not we didn't get like enough money. So
sure.
Like one of my relatives like offered us a joint sponsor, but then we got a request for evidence because the joint sponsor, we sent more evidence and the case got denied. Practically the case, the request for evidence and the denial notice, it was exactly the same because according to the USCIS, the joint sponsor was not qualified. I've been doing everything by my own, but then I sent, I don't know if it was a good idea, but I sent like a motion to reopen with a new joint sponsor and a qualified joint sponsor. But now like I got denied in November, and I'm a little bit worried that like about the time, because honestly I don't want to like accumulate like illegal like time.
Yep. So
yeah, so I don't know if it was a bad idea or I should like file again.
I hate motions to reconsider, especially on something like this. And the reason I hate it is because you might not find out for 12 or 18 months what's going to happen. You're not going to be in status. You're not going to have work authorization. You're not going to have proof that you're legally here. If you had asked me before you filed it, I would have said, forget all that. Just file a new clean case with you as the sponsor, with your new co-sponsor. I mean, Jay, just so you know, that's very unusual what just happened. Like that doesn't really happen that often. Like if I would even argue, and I would hope that you put this in your motion to reopen, that if they weren't satisfied with the second co-sponsor, they should have given you an opportunity to either find another one or fix it or make them happy, right? So I don't know. I don't even know if they followed their own rules when they didn't do that. But all that being said, this is sort of like once you're having that fight, you've already lost. Like you've not wasted, but you've lost a lot of time in status and all that stuff. So I think that if I were you, even I would leave that thing pending and I would just file a new one.
Okay, so I can still file because my I-130 is still pending. That one is still open, and we never got like a request for evidence for the I-130. We still accumulated like the proof for the relationship, everything. Because I know.
So that's an interesting point. So then what I would do then is I would only file the 45, the 131, the 765, and the affidavit of support stuff. And I would put in a cover letter with the I-130 receipt notice and say, hey, look, you fools, you should have approved this I-130. It's a valid marriage. There's no evidence to the contrary. The fact that I wasn't able to get a proper co-sponsor has no impact on whether or not this I-130 is approvable. Like that'd be my opening paragraph. And then I would say in bold letters, so approve the damn I-130. And then after that, I would say, and also see attached, instead of worrying about my pending motion to reopen, I'm just going to do a new 45. Here it all is.
Correct. And then so there's not a problem.
You want to make sure that you attach the I-130 receipt notice because you want to make sure that they tie this new 45 to your old I-130 because you don't want to have to pay for that again. That way you're only paying the $12.25 for the green card.
Perfect. Okay. And right now, because when I after I graduate, I was already married and my process was pending. So like if I do it like before the 180 days, I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna accumulate like because I'm afraid of the bar, like 3 years or like
Is your spouse a U.S. citizen?
yes.
So if your spouse is a U.S. citizen and you're able to get this I-130 and the 45 done correctly, you could be here 20 years without status as long as you were properly inspected when you first came, which I'm sure you were because you were on an F1. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. But yeah, if you can get it in before the 180 days, that'd probably be better.
Perfect. Yeah, because even like when my my record on CVS, it was because I graduate, I completely like everything. I graduate, so yeah, because honestly, I just came here to study, but then like I knew like my spouse, so yeah. All right, perfect.
All right,
So
Jay.
thank you so much.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much, Jim.
Bye, buddy.
Have a good day. Bye.
Okay. Now listen, I hope most of you have been listening and paying attention. We talked to 3 really nice people today, all of whom filed their own applications without a lawyer, and to varying degrees, they screwed up their case. One person didn't list a divorce. One person wasn't able to get the co-sponsor stuff together. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just saying that I hope that you're seeing by these examples of people who are losing time and being sad and being scared because they try to do it themselves. This stuff is not the hardest thing in the world, but it's also not the easiest thing in the world. So I think that a lot of people just think, it's just a couple forms. What's the worst that could happen? But people are losing a year and a half of status. They're living under all this stress. They're spending extra money on refiling applications. I mean, I had the advice for the one guy to file a new application, Jay, and his spouse are going to have to file a new 45. That's $1,225. So, you have to ask yourself, what's my peace of mind worth? Can I scrape together the money to get a good lawyer? I'm not trying to convince people to hire us. I'm just saying that that's something to think about when you're going through all this, because it's not fun being on that back end where Jay is of the refusal. Rocio is asking about where to leave a review. You can just go to reviewhackinglaw.com. Reviewhackinglaw.com. All right. All right. Let's talk to Ed. Hi, Ed. You're on mute, my friend.
Oh, hi. Okay, so I have 2 questions. My first question is, I'm here on my F1 visa. I just graduated college. So right now I applied for my EAD card and I just got approved. I got approved on the 26th for the EAD card, and they have not yet shipped it to me yet. So my question is that I understand that I have 3 years of the OPT because I'm a STEM major. Yeah. So my question is so with my OPT now, what is the fastest route to a citizenship? What are the options I have?
So you only have the EAD off OPT, or you have EAD off something else?
The OPT, yeah, OPT, yeah.
So it's the initial 1 year OPT?
Initial 1 year, yes, and then I can apply for an extension.
Okay.
I think you can apply for 2 years extension. Is it 2 years? So yeah.
If you're in a STEM field, yeah. Are you in a STEM field?
Yes, electrical engineering, yes. So
awesome. So, and do you have a job lined up?
Well, yeah, I have a couple of interviews, but I'm sure I can get a job. I just graduated, so I'm still in the process.
So when you start having those conversations with employers, you want to mention that eventually you're going to want sponsorship for an H-1B and then maybe for a green card. So that, I would sort of be focusing on those employers who A, want to give you a job, but B, also are open to sponsoring you for an H-1B. And you want them to try and sponsor you this April, next April, and the April after that, right? So that way you get 3 shots of getting picked in the lottery. So I wouldn't waste my time. I would just tell people, look, I'd love to come work for you, but if you're not interested in filing an H-1B application for me in March, and they might not be because you won't have started yet, you'll have just started, right? then those are the conversations that you need to have. I have a book that sort of explains all this. It's called stayingherebook.com. I don't know if the website is working, but if you send an email to the office, I can send you the link. You can download the book for free, and it just walks you through. Like I have a whole presentation on this of what kids on OPT should be thinking about when they want to stay in the United States, and like you say, maybe have a path towards citizenship.
Yeah. Okay. And also, yeah, but I guess the H-1B, like, it's not guaranteed. I guess it's a lottery. So, like, you probably. So, what happens to someone that doesn't get picked?
Well, that's why you want to go through it 3 times, because that gives you a chance at getting picked. If you never get picked, then you either have to go back to school or go home.
Okay.
I mean, the other thing is with 3 years of OPT, you could try to find an employer to sponsor you for a green card, but most employers want to try you out on an H-1B first before they spend all that money and go through all that hassle of a green card sponsorship.
Okay. Okay, I guess my second question is if, like, let's say family friend, like, let's say if someone relocates to the U.S. on a visitor's visa, and the person decides to stay in the U.S., what's the person's options? Like, is there like a way to change status, or do you have to like go back and apply and come in like with another like visa status?
Well, the old days of being able to come on a visit visa and change to another non-immigrant visa, like an F1 or something, that in theory works, but it's so backlogged and it doesn't really work anymore that nobody really does that. Nobody tries that anymore. So there's basically 4 ways to stay in the United States. If you marry a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you find an employer to sponsor you, you seek asylum in the United States, or you win the diversity visa. So most likely they're going to have to leave and come back later.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Ed. See you, bud.
Bye.
All right. Got time for one more, and we'll see what Tony has to say. Hi, Tony.
Hi. How you doing, Jim?
I'm good, except for that Seahawks stuff.
I know.
Hey, as long as the Rams lose today, I'm happy. That's all I care about.
Okay, I'll get it all covered up right now. Yeah,
what
so
can I help you with?
I have 3 questions basically.
Go for it.
I filed my I-751 in 2019.
Okay.
October 2019 precisely, and COVID happened, so they had so many delays. And the process of then towards the end of so I was scheduled for an interview. No, I was asked to send in evidence of support.
More evidence?
Yes, which I did, but they weren't still convinced by that.
Yeah.
So I'm now waiting for an interview, pending interview. So November last year, I was scheduled for an interview. So unfortunately, me and my spouse are going through a divorce at the time. So on the interview was somewhere in November. So I went for the interview.
Just to be clear, the 751 that you filed jointly. Your spouse signed it.
Yes.
And then the case was taking so long that towards the end, around the time of the interview, somebody had already filed for divorce.
She already filed for divorce towards the end by early November.
Okay. And then so you go to the interview by yourself?
The interview was too short, so I had to go by myself. So when I got there, I already filed in a waiver.
Yeah.
I sent the waiver in, but unfortunately, it hasn't arrived at the USCIS facility before I got to the interview.
Yeah.
So when I got to the interview,
which field office had your interview?
Seattle.
Are we worried at all about your spouse saying bad things to USCIS about you?
Well, I probably wouldn't know. So
we often don't.
Yeah. So what actually happened was that I went there for an interview and they told me that I have like the receipt of the form that was sent in. They said no, they have not received it yet. That I have to wait. They have to reschedule my interview. They have to wait to receive it.
I would have expected that. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, just think about it from their point of view. They walk out looking for Tony and Mrs. Tony, and there's no Mrs. Tony.
Yeah.
So they're really like, oh, that totally changes the interview. That totally changes what I have to talk about. So
true.
And if they asked you for more evidence, that means they were concerned about it anyway. So now that you told them that she had filed for divorce, they're like, oh, well, we probably want to get a copy of the divorce file. We probably want to go track down the wife and see if she's going to say Tony just married her to get a green card, all that stuff. So that doesn't surprise me.
Okay. So I sent it in. So it was received a couple of days ago.
What, the waiver?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been
So
received?
I think they've received it now, but
Yeah.
they've not no updates yet though. So I think
Yeah.
just received it, but I'm still waiting for them to give me an update on what next to do. So I just want to know, what do you think about the whole
Well, so it's approvable. I mean, is the divorce final?
Not yet.
How long is that going to take?
Because for right now we're still argument about property dispute.
Can you afford not? Can you, Tony, afford not to argue about stuff? Like, could we just cut a deal with her, be done with it, get the divorce over with, and then even try to get her to sign an affidavit that says, yeah, me and Tony were married, it was real, it just didn't work out, and I still think he's a good person who should get a green card? Like, are you willing to trade off some of the property just to keep her happy so that she'll help you and help us on the immigration piece?
I've been thinking about that because the whole thing why it got to this level was because of the fact that now, before the interview, she like, oh, if you don't sign the waiver, that I won't fight for the property, that I will go for the interview with you. So it got to that.
Yeah, well, that's a little sneaky. Yeah,
so that was why I like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll go for the interview and see anything that happens.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I say this all the time to 751 people. Once you realize that your spouse is not on board and they're starting to play games like that, just get divorced and do it yourself. You don't want to get involved in anything close to that.
Thank you.
Because that they could say that's immigration fraud, that you offered to pay them money or give them a better settlement deal. Yeah. So I would just even still, Tony, if you can walk away from that marriage as fast as possible, that's my vote, even if she won't help us, right? I would just, focus on the green card. As UFAM says, take the green card over the property. I think that's generally right? I think that's generally what we want to do. So to the extent that you can make the divorce go easy and then hopefully never even have anything to do with them anymore, then you're just, if you can let it go, it looks like you're having some internal struggle with letting that stuff go.
Yeah, well, because I've gone through a lot just to get to where I'm at right now.
Yeah, but you're really close.
I know, and the threat that comes with it was that is just the breaking point for me, because the threat would give me under duress. Oh, you have to sign this or have to do this. So
listen, it's just a game, brother. Here's what I'll say, and I will end the show with this. Too many people spend their lives going into the future facing the wrong direction. They're looking back over all the other stuff. You want to start your new life together. You want to have that green card. You want to be on your path to citizenship. Just forget her and just move forward. Think about, what's my life going to look like when she's out of it, when I have my 10-year green card? How happy am I going to be? And just focus on demonstrating that the marriage was real, getting all your evidence and winning this case. Forget her. Just forget her.
Okay. Appreciate you, Jim.
Just one other thing. Just tell her that as part of the divorce decree, she can have all your Seahawks stuff, right? And then I'll send you some jet skier, okay?
Thank you very much, Jim. I really appreciate it.
Bud. Yeah, let me know if you need any help, okay? All right, bye, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Good stuff today. That was a fun show. I'm really having fun. I feel like I've found my groove. Tomorrow will be the 31st day in a row where we did our show. So we will be back on tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central. That'll be the 31st day in a row, and then I'll probably take a break. Probably going to do 4 or 5 shows a week. I've really enjoyed it. I don't want there to be a letdown, and I'm glad to spend all the time with you guys. But I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Time. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye, everybody.